Hey everyone, welcome back to Rima Reads. So I just read Dawnshard and oh my god, just so many things happened and I have so many thoughts, and so we're just gonna go on a talk about this book and so this review of Dawnshard is going to have so many spoilers. Like, don't watch this video if you haven't read the book. Please click away if you haven't read the book. But if you've read Dawnshard, let's go. Let's do it. Let's talk about everything. So Dawnshard is our small novella that takes place in between Oathbringer and Rhythm of War, and I say it's small, but it's not really small. It's like 200 pages, so it's a pretty decent sized book. So this book involves Rusan and a crew of folks, including our Knights Radiant, Lopan and Huio, whose name I am probably not pronouncing right, as well as Cord, who is Rock's daughter, go on an adventure to Amiya to figure out information about the Oathgate and everything that's going on there. This was such a fun story, but also like some crazy stuff happened. The characters in this book are like very much side characters in the main Stormlight Archive series, and so it was very fun to see them as the main characters in a story and follow them throughout the book. And while this book was only 200 pages, there was a lot of character development in it. So first, I wanted to talk about Huio, because in the Stormlight Archive series, he's just like very much a background character, Bridge 4 background character, not even one of the more prominent Bridge 4 background characters, but like very back there. And he, doesn't talk very much because he has very broken Alethi. You note that he, like, in the books goes around, does lots of tasks, but you don't really know much about him. In this book, he is definitely more prominent, and with his conversations with Lopan, you realize that he's just so smart. Like, wow. I really like what Brandon Sanderson did here in terms of, like, in his native language, Huio is just, like, brilliant. He like figures out the use of aluminum and all of this other like cool technical things, and he just like can't explain it because he doesn't speak the language. And I totally feel that because I am bad at a lot of languages, and so I really liked learning more about him and like getting more insight on who he is as a person, as well as like understanding his struggle with that. I thought it was really fun to see him and Lopan interact, and I really liked his journey throughout the book. So we also got to see more of Cord, who is Rock's daughter, and like she's basically mentioned like 2 lines in the Stormlight Archive, like not that much at all. And Rock is pretty much our only like reference before this on like the Horn-Eater culture and everything about the peaks, and so it's very interesting to see Cord, his daughter, and how they're very similar in a lot of ways, but how her stances are on terms of like the traditions that Rock finds very valuable versus like her need and desire to make sure the peaks are well defended against everything that's coming over, because she did mention it a bunch of times how the peaks are perpendicular. They have cultivations perpendicular, so it's going to be very much something that's relevant in the future books. Like both the Fused, I believe, on the Shadesmar side already have control, and definitely on this side, people are going to try and fight for control, and so people will be realizing that the peaks are an important place, and she is very worried about this and the future that it holds for her people. And so this book, she is trying to get shards and learn how to defend her people. And I thought that was very compelling as well, because while they mention like in Shadesmar how the Horn-Eater peaks had a perpendicular, it just like it's just like fun to hear it from the characters that this is going to be a place that's going to be very, very important in the future of this series. And I really liked Cord as a character, and I enjoyed her and Rhysand bonding and spending time together. I kind of found it wild that her and Lopan are almost the same age, because that either means Lopan's a lot younger than I thought he was, or Rock is a lot older than I thought he was. I don't know. That threw me off, but that was a fun tidbit. And then next character I want to talk about is the Lopan. So Lopan in the Stormlight Archive series is like a very fun character. Like, he comes in and he makes jokes and has a great attitude, but it's not someone I would expect as a main character of a book. It was very, very fun to see like his point of view in a lot of these chapters. We do get a couple in the Stormlight Archive, but this is definitely much more Lopan, and we got more insight on him as a character. Like, you definitely get the joking around, being Lopan, being, you know, fun guy, but you also see how much he like cares about people, which was really fun. Like, he jokes around with Rhysand, but he also like jokes in a way that helps her gain confidence about her disability, since he can relate as he was disabled with only one arm. He also spends a lot of time with the crew. Like, he'll mention their names and like, oh, this person's really good at this thing in the crew, and you're like, wow, he really does, you know, focus a lot on people and caring about them, but he just does it in such a weird Lopan way that, like, outside of his point of view, you don't really see it. And so I thought that was really fun to just get into his mindset. I also really liked his swearing of the third ideal of the Knights Radiant. Like, first off, it was hilarious because, like, he got to do it after the whole dramatic fight, just like in Stormlight when he swore the second ideal after the whole dramatic fight. And so that's always funny. Love the humor. I also love how different his and Huyo's third ideal is compared to Kaladin and Teft. So Kaladin's third ideal was about protecting those he hates, and Teft's was about protecting those he hates, even if he's the one who he hates. And Huyo's is like protecting those who hurt him. So different than hate. And Lopan was like protecting those even from being hurt by me. Like, it was very, very different interpretations of the ideal, from like hatred to hurt. But I thought it was really, really cool that the third ideal could be so varied between the people. It's also kind of hilarious because Hui's like, I'll protect Lopan even though he's so annoying, and Lopan's like, my third ideal will be to stop being so annoying. So that was hilarious, but also really cool. And I do really like that he came to the realization that he should, you know, focus on other people's feelings more, and that they address the fact that Lopan doesn't really have anyone he hates. So the third ideal that worked for Kaladin and Teft wouldn't really work for him either. So I just thought that was really cool. I liked his storyline. I'm glad we got more of the Lopan. Finally, our main star, Rhysand. I love her because it's so crazy, her character development in the first interludes that we see her in. She's like super whiny, kind of closed-minded about all of these other cultures that she's visited, and now she's grown so much from that point to be like a true merchant. She is so skilled and learned a lot about negotiating and respecting culture, and it's just amazing to see like where she's come and her wisdom that she's gained throughout her internship. It's not an internship, an apprenticeship. That was amazing to see her merchant trading skills in place. But I want to talk about the whole ending with Rhysand later, but we loved that she was like, I'm gonna take a journey because my pet is sick, and I'm gonna just sail to these dangerous waters to fix him. And I'm like, yes, you go. We love Cheery. Please fix him. So that was fun. And I also just loved her story arc with her disability. It felt very real to me, and it seemed like Brandon Sanderson really did his research on disabilities. He, put in elements about how Rhysand started to reach out to other folks via span read and like build a community with others and learn about accommodations, and you get to hear a lot of her internal struggles with losing her legs and how really she just wants to be independent, and not focus on what she's lost but what she's gained. And I really liked the bonding that her and Lopan got to do, with both of them having disabilities, and not Lopan anymore, but both of them had disabilities, and bonding over that as well. I'm also really happy that she didn't like get use of her legs via Stormlight, because I was a little bit worried that would happen. I think it's important to have disability rep in this world that isn't just cured by Stormlight, particularly physical disabilities, because all the physical disabilities up until this point have been cured by Stormlight via the Knight's Radiance, i.e. Renarin and his epilepsy, Lopan and his one arm, Hobber and his legs. Like, they've all been cured from their physical disabilities via Stormlight, so it's nice to have a character who's going to stay disabled, and we get that representation in the books. And in general, Dawnshard did a great job with representation also, because there was a trans character mentioned, and it's hashtag confirmed that Stormlight helps you transition. So that was really, really cool also. So I loved all the disability representation and all the representation in general. And I think you could really see that Brandon Sanderson did his research on this topic. So that's my thoughts on the characters, and I loved it. It was such a fun group together, especially with Rushu, who is our fun ardent that we love. She's so hilarious and blunt, and I enjoy whenever she shows up. So now to talk about the plot, because let's start with Amiya and the Sleepless. That was really cool. I loved that we got sleepless points of view in this book, particularly Nickley. I thought it was so cool that we got to hear about their hive mind and learn about them. The Sleepless kind of reminded me of the Kandra from Mistborn, but then as the novella went on, I could see lots of differences, so I thought that was really cool. Particularly it's so creepy that they're a whole bunch of little bug creatures coming together to make a human suit, but also really cool. And I really liked Nickley and thought it was really fun hearing his point of view. And so just block out the creepy crawlies and it's fine. It was also just cool how they're trying to learn about human culture but don't really understand it, and are excited to be with Rhysand more to learn about human culture and blend in more. And we finally got to learn what they've been guarding so heavily, and I did not call this at all, and oh my god, it completely blew my mind. The Dawnshards. And we have learned that the Dawnshards are actually something that can shatter a god, i.e. these are the Dawnshards that shattered Atlantium. And in the book, Rhysand gets one of these Dawnshards in her mind. I believe it's the Dawnshard of Change, and it sounds like there are 4 Dawnshards, and then those 4 cause the shattering for the 16 shatters of Atlantium. And so I've seen a bunch of theories of Change and which one of the splinters would fall under Change, and I definitely agree with Cultivation, and I think I need to go through and map them out. But oh my god, first off, Rhysand's a Dawnshard. Oh my god, that's crazy. And now we know how Atlantium was shattered. for further Cosmere implications. Like, this book has so many. Brandon Sanderson confirmed that Wit at some point was a Dawnshard, but might not be any longer, kind of unclear on that point. And that's the reason why he's able to live so long, as well as why he can't hurt anyone, can't eat meat. First off, I really liked that they mentioned vegetarianism in this book also, because I've been kind of curious about that, being a vegetarian. But this is a tangent. Anyways, so it explained why, you know, what couldn't hurt anyone, and I wonder if these changes are going to happen to Roseanne as well. Like, is she going to live forever now, and will she not be able to like harm another creature at all? Like, it'll be very interesting to see like her changes after everything that happened, now that she's a Dawnshard. I'm assuming if the Dawnshard could kill Atalancium, it could kill Odium. So is this the way that they're gonna plan on defeating Odium? Definitely sounds like there are at least 3 other Dawnshards out there that will come into play in the further Cosmere universe, as well as Roseanne, I'm sure, is going to be a much bigger character. Loved her story in this novella. Like, her negotiating at the end of the book was amazing, and I was like so proud of her and how much character development she has gone through. And I don't know, I'm just like freaking out at the greater Cosmere implications of her being a Dawnshard. Like, and so I'm really curious to see how this plays out, both in Rhythm of War and the rest of the series. Anyways, so yeah, I thought this novella was so good and holds a lot of information. Like, Rhythm of War, from what I've read for the preview chapters, is really just like dropping hints about the Cosmere, and I feel like this novella really sets it into place that we are moving from just a, you know, world centric, like the world of Roshart centric fight, to something that's going to affect the entire universe. And I'm just so excited for that. And this novella is amazing. I feel like I'm gonna have to reread it like a bunch more to pick up on all of the small little things, or I will probably just read the fandom wikis, because I always need to do that to like get all the connections. But anyways, I'm so excited to start reading Rhythm of War soon. So hope you guys enjoyed this review of Dawnshard. It was mostly just me squealing, but I'm gonna do something very similar for Rhythm of War, so expect this. But thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this and want more Cosmere content or just random book content, please subscribe to my channel and leave a comment on your thoughts about Dawnshard. Thanks all.